guys, this is Tom from Fold-A-Door. We're in our showroom in Anaheim, California today. I'm going to put a short video on how to toe and heel the glass and to attach the retaining clips, the glass retaining clips. That's what these are. These are used to fasten the glass into place once you set the glass into the panels. So a couple things real quickly. On our aluminum units, the glass is fastened from the inside. On our vinyl units, the glass is being set from the outside. So this actually is the outside of a 4-panel door that opens up to the outside left if you're looking from the inside. So I've purposely removed this panel here, the glass panel here, and it's sitting right here. So I'm going to set that into position. But when we toe and heel the glass, so what we're doing by toe and heeling the glass is, this is a good idea here. This is called the active edge right here, right? There's no rollers in between here. So when you set heavy glass panels into the frame, into the door frame, what will happen is if you don't toe and heel it properly, or they call it cross blocking, but if you don't do it properly, what happens is because of the weight, because there's no roller under this edge, it'll want to sag. And when it does, you're going to find that you're going to have a hard time sometimes pulling this door completely shut, or when you push it open, it's going to drag at the bottom. So to avoid that, we're going to use this technique called cross blocking, or again, it's called toe and heel, and that's going to prevent it from sagging in the center. This technique is used with all doors, regardless of whether they're bifold doors, doors that have glass in them that are like a single door that opens out, whatever type of door it is. So this is a technique they use. So I'm going to show you real quickly how that's done. So again, this is considered the active edge, and this is the edge with no roller under there, or for example, it's not hinged to a jamb. So this is the edge that wants to sag if you don't properly do this. So when you toe and heel it, so what I've done is I've marked it in blue, right? So this is the active edge here. So what you want to do is shim these left 2 corners at the bottom here, and you're going to shim those 2 corners at the top. I'm going to show you how that works. But those left 2 corners on the bottom and the top right corner. So this is the active edge right here. So we're going to raise this edge so that it doesn't sag. So we're going to top these 2 here and do those 2 on the corner and bottom. So that's kind of important, right? Don't do it the other way around. So the edge that's active, which is this edge here, will be these 2 panels here. So if I was to do this one here, same thing. I would put the shims on the bottom here, and this top corner, that's where I used to raise it. On the opposite door, it'll be the same thing. These 2 top corners here, and 2 on the bottom. So that active edge, that one that wants to sag, that's where you're gonna place the blocks at the top corners. So that's how to figure that out. Also, if this was a door that opened up, a single active door, right? With a single active door, the edge that wants to sag is the door that has no hinge or anything on it. So if this door was to open up this way, right, you would put the shims at the top corners there, and you would put the shims at the bottom corner here, because this is the hinge side. So the loose side, basically, the loose side with nothing on the bottom, is the side that's going to be in the top corner. So in the box that you get with the crate, these are usually attached to your door frames, and I'm sure you use the screws already to assemble the frame, level it and everything like that. But in the box are these white chips. These are wedges, right? These wedges are, these shims are what we use to toe and heel the glass. So there's one that's approximately 1/8, and the white one, and then the black one's like a 16th, I believe. So generally on the 2 bottom corners, one single 1/8 one would be good. And what you would do is you would silicone it, use a silicone, right? Tap it into position at the bottom corner here, and you would do the same on the side right here. So this vertical one right here, if you don't silicone it, it'll want to slide down. So you want to do this part right here with silicone for sure. Since I'm by myself and I want to make sure that the glass doesn't fall out on me, I'm going to use these. These are glazing glass blocks. They're made of rubber, they're neoprene, so they're not as small as the ones in the pack. so it's easy for me to handle this. So again, because I'm working on my own here. So what I've done is, I put this tape here to show you guys, but I'm gonna set this here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply this one right here. I'm gonna sit here, and I'm gonna set one on the side right here, right? Let me see here. I've got one in one right here, right? One right here at the bottom, and one at the corner right there. I don't know if you can see that good. So you got two of them right there. We're gonna sit the glass right on top of there. So let me just show you. I'm gonna set that in position. Not sure if you guys know this, but this is dual pane tempered glass. All glass comes this way. By code, it has to be this. So the edges are the weakest point here, and they're designed to shatter. So never sit glass on top of, I don't know, sand, debris, nails, or whatever. If you do that, it's going to want to shatter into a million pieces, and because they're designed to do that for safety purposes. Be careful when you handle glass, okay? So when you set it in position here, set that right there. So normally what I would do is, you definitely want this panel closed, right, in locked position. You don't want to be hanging it off of here. But again, since I'm on my own doing this, the best way for you to visually see it is if I do it from this angle here. So let me see here. Looks good so far. So I don't know if you can see that. So right below here you've got a shim right there. And right on the corner over here, you might not be able to see it good, but you've got a shim over there on this edge right here, right? So you got there and there. So it's sitting on that rubber right there. So what I'm gonna do is, now that I've done that, and you see how I've kind of drawn that line there? See how I've kind of drawn that line? So what I'm gonna do is, I've shimmed these two corners here. I'm gonna shim these two corners now. And again, let's see. On the vertical ones, if you don't silicone it, it's gonna wanna slide down on you. So I'm gonna put a shim here. And I use these plastic chisels. You never wanna use a chisel or a screwdriver or anything. Metal touches the glass, it's not good. So I'm gonna tilt that over there. And then I'm gonna slide this in here. I'm gonna squeeze it back in. All right, let's see. So I've got that right there in the corner across here, and come at this angle. So I've shimmed that in that corner right there, right underneath that blue, above that blue tape, and I've shimmed one on that side right there, right next to that blue tape. I've got two, because it's black. I don't think you can see it really good, but I've got that. And I've got one on the corner up here where I've got the blue tape. Now, if you notice at the top, when I put this paddle in here, right? When I lift it, I don't know if you can tell, the frame itself is coming up higher above the glass. The entire frame is moving up, right? So you've got that there, and we're raising it and moving it up. So when the frame comes up, we're gonna stick a wedge in there so it won't come down. So basically that glass squares the entire frame, right? The glass squares the frame, and it won't wanna sag on that corner right there. So let me just do this here. So to continue on here, I've got that shim right there, and I've got two at the top now. So the two at the top is preventing the glass, the frame from coming down, and it's basically squared that, right, from that left corner to the top. And so that right corner right there is not hanging any lower now. So what I'm gonna do is test it. Testing it is, I wanna make sure that this door, when I close it, after I've shimmed these corners here, after I've closed it, that the door doesn't drag at the bottom. See how smooth it is right here? So actually, yeah, like that. So I actually had, a minute ago before I stopped the video, I had only two shims at the top, and I was testing it. It was dragging a little. So what I ended up doing was putting a third shim here at the top. So I'm gonna putting a third shim at the top. Got that one on the side right there where the blue tape is. I've got that one on the bottom right there, right below the blue tape, and I have one up against that side right there. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna shim these, I'm gonna caulk these in position, so hang on. So I'm gonna apply silicone, especially in these vertical ones, so they don't slide down. One on the corner here. So I'm just gonna apply a bead of silicone here. Right. Silicone that in position. I just run it right there, locks it in. And on the top right here, since I'm using that wider rubber one, if you have the smaller one, it might want to move. So you're just gonna caulk that up there. Right, caulk it into position right there, like that. Put one up the side. Now that I've done that, I'm gonna put the retaining clips in. So these are, they're called retaining clips. So you're gonna start with the, because the short ones are not that pliable, it's easier if you start with the horizontal and vertical one. So start with the top or bottom, doesn't matter which one, top or bottom, right? And what you're gonna do is there's a groove right here. There's a groove in the, right here, right, you see that, right there? You're just gonna tap it in. It's really easy actually. So I'm gonna go ahead and set these in here. So we're gonna start with the horizontal ones first. And you wanna make sure that you pull the rubber edges, right? Don't let it hang out like that, because it's gonna be a headache to try to adjust it. Once you get this in, the pressure on the glass pushes on it, it's gonna be very hard to slide this rubber in and out. So you wanna just get it into position so that it's somewhat equally in the center there, like that, right? And use this type of mallet. They sell this at Home Depot for like 15 bucks. Yeah, so this is what we always use here. So we're gonna slide that down the channel. We're just gonna tap it in, really easy, right? Slide the bottom one in first. Again, you really wanna do this with the panels closed and maybe someone help pushing pressure on it so the glass doesn't fall out on you, right? Leave this top one in. And this hammer has a metal, metal in the center here. You never want to hit the glass with this as well. So the reason why I put the vertical and horizontal one right here, because again, this is more pliable, right? It bends easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to set one edge in. Set one edge in right here in the corner. And what we're going to do is we're going to, what works for me, pull those rubber, don't cut these, pull it down like this, pull it in, and slide that in right there. So you see how it's folded out like that? So you can either work from the top or the bottom, but since we're standing here, it's probably easier from the top. And we'll just hit that in, just kind of tap that in. And work your way from the bottom too. So as it forces it in here, it pushes it tight in the corners, right? The top and bottom corners. We're gonna do this one here too. Bend that in, see how I got that edge bend in right there? Pull the rubber gasket at the top to make sure it fits right there, right? And then you're gonna start incrementally working at the top and bottom, right? Got that in, then work the bottom in, get that quarter in. And it'll just kind of force its way to this, so it has a sharp, the edges meet. Yeah. Something like that. Again, it's that, you see how it's kind of tightened up that corner there when you get it in? Like that. So it's easier always to get the bottom and the top in first, the horizontal ones in first, because the long ones are pliable, and get the edges in and cinch it in like that. So let me see if I can close this here. And close it right there, doesn't drag, right? And another thing to keep in mind is because I'm filming, that's convenient for me to have this panel here so I can video it. You always want to start on the edge, the first panel that's hinged to the jamb right here, right? You want to work from the hinge side on each panel and work your way this way to the left. This one is, let's say there's hinged on this jamb and another 3 doors hinged on that other jamb. Irregardless, you work your way from the center, so you start on this side, work these towards the center, and from the other side you come across as well, so that the doors are all equally level all the way across. You don't want to start from the farthest panel and work your way back, okay? That's it. Thank you.